Yo, what's up? This is BunnyMuffins. I'm here with the 10.2 patch notes. I've been waiting for this patch for a while because I haven't had the most fun with the most recent patch, so let's get right into it. PvE rounds, planning phase time reduced from 30 seconds to 20 seconds. That's a good quality of life change. It does make scouting a little more difficult because that's when I normally do that. Let's look at the item system. Small loot boxes, remove the 4 gold drop possibility. Removed 7 gold drop possibility from the medium boxes, and removed worst case scenario for item drops throughout the course of the game, especially in the first 3 PvE rounds. In short, we raise the RNG floor. Okay, yeah, so it's like, I guess it's harder to high roll these kind of gold drops then. I don't really think it changes that much about the game because in the long run, all this like RNG evens out, so I don't really care too much about this. Full items now drop significantly less. I kind of like the full item drops. It forces you to use suboptimal items, and like the person who uses it most effectively is going to climb. But I guess it's kind of unfun for other players, so it makes sense that they do that to make it more fun to play. Full item drops. Full items only drop if you are already rolling item components. The RNG ceiling has not changed, but you are more likely to get a full item as you approach that ceiling. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty fair. And you can no longer get 2 full item drops in the same game from PvE rounds. This does not include epic, monster rewards, or the carousel. Yeah, I guess it could be unfun if you get that, right? Drastically reduce the chance of force of nature appearing on the carousel. I kind of like all these changes, to be honest. It's going to make the game more fun, at least, so hopefully more people will be playing it, and then we get a bigger community, so I'm pretty happy about that. Even though I like the full item drops because I thought there's like some skill expression there, because you could use different champions than you normally would in like a hard force comp, for example. But it makes the game more engaging and more fun if you get more like singular items. So I guess it's pretty good changes overall. PvE minions and monsters are now immune to Zephyr. Updated the trait tracker UI with the chromatic tier to celebrate rare synergies, such as 9 Inferno. Rune Spirit VFX update, and the system for choosing your little legend. Okay, this doesn't matter, but some skin stuff got improved. But let's focus on competitive. Bramble Vest damage buff. This is actually a pretty big buff. So it's around 25% at level 1, and then at level 2 it's also 25%. Or sorry, at level 3 it's also 25%. So this one got considerably stronger. Whether it's usable or not, it's tough to say. It's like you never want to have 2 chain vests, but I guess if you do get it now, it's not as bad to have. Bloodthirster lifesteal increase. Yeah, no one's using Bloodthirster, but this heal percent doesn't really matter because as long as Morellonomicon and Red Buff are super strong, getting more lifesteal doesn't actually do anything because it reduces healing by 80%. So you heal for 40% before, right? With Morello up, divide by 5. 40 divided by 5 is 8%. So you only heal 8%. Okay, they buffed it to 50%. 50% divided by 5 is 10%. You now heal 2% more whenever you are hit by red buff now. Doesn't really change the game. Guinsoo's Rage Blade buffed. This is good. Guinsoo's is like, I wouldn't say it's terrible, but the fights don't last long enough. This whole set, it's like all the fights are really quick, so it's like stuff like Lunar, stuff like Guinsoo's. Apart from the early game, it's not really going to do anything for you. Hextech Gunblade Omnisteel increased by quite a bit, so this is a bigger buff than this one, but again, it's like with everything with Morello and Red Buff being so prevalent, this doesn't really bring those items back into the game. Iceborne Gauntlet freeze duration increased by a lot. This might actually make it pretty playable because on Ezreal or something like that, or Kindred, I could see this getting out of hand. Locket of the Iron Solari shield value buffed. I don't know why they buffed this. I guess they only buffed the level 3 version, so I guess that's fine. No one really gets to level 3s anyways, so I don't really think this is going to change anything, but interesting that they decide to do that. Luden's Echo damage. This got, okay, this is slight buff. Doesn't do that much. 15 more damage at level 2, which is the most common one, but it's like a little less than 10%. I think Luden's is still a little too weak, but maybe on like a Predator, Hyperroll Cogmob, it got buffed at at level 3 by 25%. So maybe that's actually something you want to go for now. Now we go on to the traits. Assassins got a huge buff. Oh, wow. 150% to 225%. I am pretty scared of Kha'Zix right now because he already crits so hard without even many items. So, oh, even 3 assassins buffed a lot too. Or not a lot, but by some amount. But we haven't actually seen 6 assassins this whole set yet. So I'm actually very interested in this buff, and I want to see more assassins because I think in terms of like all these backline carries, like assassins obviously counter those, but I've never had to put like assassin baits this whole set yet, so I'm excited to start doing that again. Blademasters can no longer store more extra attacks than the maximum your trait level provides, 1, 2, or 3. In short, this means that it will be much less likely, if not impossible, for your champion to go infinite off their auto attack. Specifically, this nerfs 4 and 6 Blademaster. So Blademaster's chance to get extra auto attacks 40% to 35%. I don't know why they nerfed this twice. They could have just done the above change and then maybe not change the chance to get extra autos, because this just feels kind of weird. It's like, why would you nerf something twice? They're already not even that good anymore. Like, sure, there's still like a strong composition, but they're not like completely taking over games, you know, like they were last patch. Like, you don't need to nerf it twice. Just do the first nerf and then leave this at 40. That's my opinion. Yeah, let's not play Blademasters anymore then. Desert armor reduction nerfed at 2 desert, which is fair. It's too easy to get 2 desert, to be honest. And they buffed it at 4 desert to 100%. I like this change because wardens, they actually get a lot of armor. If you get like 4 wardens or something like that, I've seen like Leona's have like 600 armor or something like that. So if you reduce their armor by 90%, they still have 60 armor, which is pretty decent, all things considered. But this gives a good counter to it. It's like a hard counter, so if anyone's just like doing a huge warden stack, this could stop it. Inferno's got slight buff. I don't know why. Infernos were really picking up towards the tail end of this past patch, so I guess they only buffed the 6 and 9 Inferno, which is very difficult to get, and the 6 Inferno buff is barely anything at all. So I guess this doesn't really change anything. I've never seen 9 Inferno more than like once a week, to be honest, so this shouldn't change anything actually. 6 mages, 100% to double cast equals, or change to 100% to double cast and 20 AP to all mages. Okay, yeah, I like that change. 6 mages, all the mages suck, by the way, so that's why people are not playing mages. The only good mage is Veigar, but he doesn't benefit from AP, so that doesn't really matter either, and you need him 3-star. Brand, lackluster when compared to every other carry. Syndra, useless. Vlad, useless. Talia, useless. Veigar, situational. It's like you they're just no good mages. That's why they're bad, not because of their trait. Their trait's very good, like LeBlanc, also useless. Shadow, bonus damage duration increased from 5 to 6 seconds, and bonus damage increased at 6 Shadow. So no one hits 6 Shadow, let's be honest, but if they did, would this change anything? Probably not, in my opinion. I don't think this change does anything at all. I guess it doesn't. It does make it more attractive to go like Shadow Lux, but you have to be already going Shadow, and then you have to hit Shadow Lux in order to get to 6 Shadow. It's just like way too many variables there in order to hit it. So like this shouldn't change any. It'll change like 1% of your games probably. Warden Armor bonus. Okay, wow. Now I see why they put the desert buff up. Because if you get 999% armor, it's not hard to get 6 wardens, you know? 1 warden spat, and then you get like Thresh Nautilus for 2 ocean, and then you get like level 1s of Malphite, Taric, and Amumu. That's 6 right there. You don't even have to run Leona or Nasus, so it's like 999% is a lot. I guess you have to run 4 desert now, because it's like what's going to happen is that there's going to be like a triangle of like rocks, paper, scissors, in like a top 3. I could see it already. There's like a desert comp, there's a warden comp, and then there's like maybe like a Blademaster comp or something like that, or like an assassin comp that doesn't have for desert. And like, yeah, it just seems weird to me that they'd buff it to 999%. Maybe the math works out differently, but again, I told you before, I've seen a Leona have like 600 armor, and I don't even think there were 6 wardens at the time, but we'll see how that plays out. Woodlands, got to get 6 woodlands to clone them all. I am super excited about this change. I'm going to be releasing a guide on how to hyper roll woodlands specifically, but the hyper roll guide works for any other type of hyper rolls. You just have to go for different units, but look out for that. It's probably going to come tomorrow or the day after, but I'm very, very excited about this guide because it'll show you the best way to hyper roll, and you'll be able to get all your woodlands before everyone else the way I do it. Let's go to champion balance next. So tier 1, Leona, well-deserved nerf because she is the strongest level 1 unit by far. 90 damage to 80 damage doesn't do anything early game, which is when she is strong. So actually these changes don't change anything at all, because by the time this 10 damage ends up mattering, you're planning on selling Leona anyways, so this shouldn't really affect anything. Malzahar minion health. Oh, I didn't know it stayed the same at all 3 tiers. Good buffs from Malzahar. I actually kind of think Malzahar was like very underrated. Maybe just because he was uncontested, so he was so easy to hit. And I thought he wasn't like a terrible unit. I thought he was just okay. But since he's so uncontested, like I kind of used him here and there. But good buffs for him. Ezreal buffed in terms of health and ability damage. So I'm excited to use Iceborne on Ezreal because 1, he's glacial, so the more times he gets to attack, the more chance he has to permastun, and because his Q is such a, not his Q, his ability is such a short, costs so little mana, he's going to get that Iceborne Gauntlet proc like very, very often. So maybe like a Seraph's or Ludens and then Iceborne Gauntlet. I'm not saying it's going to take over the meta, but it's something that's interesting on Ezreal. Karma attack speed bonus nerfed. So they're nerfing Blademasters and then they're nerfing their support character also. It's like, why would you just... They're even nerfing Sivir down here. Why are you nerfing a comp 4 different ways? Like, it wasn't that good. It was good, don't get me wrong. It's definitely like an S tier comp, but was it like S plus that it deserves 4 nerfs in the same patch? I don't think so. Yeah, not at all. Okay, thematically, I do agree with the Sivir bounce changes because level 1 Sivir should not bounce the same as level 3 Sivir, but I don't get why they have to do it all in one patch, plus the nerf on Karma is going to be huge too. Scion mana increase. Okay, so Scion got a little buff. He's going to get his ult off faster, and that's really important because in Berserkers, apart from Jax, Scion is your only CC unit, and whenever you run Berserker spat, you sell Jax because you'd rather have Desert Synergy with from Renekton. So this is actually going to be pretty important for Berserkers. So Berserkers actually got buffed there. I know Olaf got nerfed down here, but honestly, the CC might help out a lot because once Olaf gets his ultimate, it's like this difference in attack speed doesn't really change that many games in my opinion. Veigar spell damage, this doesn't matter because he only matters at level 3. 3-star champion adjustments. Renekton's ability damage increase at 3 stars. No one ever goes him for 3 stars, so this doesn't change anything. Same from Vladimir, no one does that. Ashe, I mean, if you hit 3-star Ashe, yeah, it's not, wait. 3-star Ashe got nerfed. Why would they nerf 3-star Ashe? No one hits it, right? Oh wait, no, they just changed it. So the attack speed bonus is less, but the attack damage ratio is more. I don't actually know how to do the math on that right now, but we could revisit it later. But no one ever goes 3-star Ashe anyway, so this change doesn't matter because it's way too hard to do. Now let's look at some of the bugs. All tooltips are now up to date. Yeah, this was pretty annoying because they nerfed a lot of stuff that wasn't reflected in the tooltips. Electric now properly states that it does magic damage. Karma is no longer 7/6. I had no idea that was a thing. Kindred's ability will now critically strike with Jeweled Gauntlet. Interesting how it didn't before. I did not notice that. But, okay, this patch, the only really thing that changes is no more Blademaster, and then 4 Desert's very interesting, same with 6 Warden. Apart from that, nothing's really going to change too much. Woodlands are, I guess they could be playable now because they now have an out in the late game. So you could hyper roll the Woodlands. Say you get a good start for Woodlands, you hyper roll them, hit a bunch of 3 cost after Krugs, get at least top 5 from that, and then if you happen to land upon a Lux Woodland, you could potentially win the game. So that is very interesting to me because getting like, so you'll have 5 dudes out that get cloned. So say you're like level 7 because you hyper rolled, you don't have a big econ, so you're level 7 with 6 Woodlands, right? But you only have 5 units because Lux counts for 2, so you have 7 plus 5, you'll have 12 units against like 8 people. It could be pretty dangerous. It's going to be hard for them to get Lux at level 2 though, even with like Nico's help, because whenever you hyper roll, your economy is just so gimped that it's so hard to get back up and get to level 8 to actually get a good chance for Lux 2 or even level 9. But yeah, no, don't play Blademasters anymore. You could still play Azir and Summoners. Azir wasn't touched at all. So if you are a fan of Azir and like playing Summoners, it's like that's probably going to be pretty viable. But yeah, that's it for this patch. I'm disappointed that they had to nerf a composition that wasn't like completely out of control. They nerfed it 4 different ways. I just would not approach it like that, but I'm interested to see how this meta plays out. Again, I'll be releasing my hyper roll guide in 1 or 2 days, and then 2 days after the patch. Oh yeah, keep in mind this patch releases on Thursday instead of their normal Wednesday schedule this week. But I'll be releasing my top meta comps guide shortly after the patch as well. Give it like a couple days because I want to see where the meta settles before releasing it, because that's where you know like where people actually optimize certain compositions. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next patch rundown, and I'll see you next time.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to share and subscribe, and of course smash that like button. Each like is an LP I gain before the next video.